How did you find out your significant other was cheating? His mistress told me at the wedding of a mutual friend, so that was nice. I held my cool until we left. I wasn't giving either of them the satisfaction of seeing me look like the crazy person or ruining someone's big day. Came home early from work and walked in on it. Yep, that's about as cliche as it gets, but there you go. Funny thing is, I had wanted an open relationship, but he said that he couldn't deal with that. Turns out he was just selfish. Just got on a flight in London headed to Vegas. Sitting next to my girlfriend and she wants to show me something she has planned for the trip, so gets out her phone. It opens to the messages and shows a chat with a guy, I know him, saying how much she is gonna miss him and how she doesn't wanna go away with me anyway. The doors close on the plane, and that was a really fucking fun 10 to 11 hours. And this one time, at band camp, I was 14 or 15 years old, my best friend, let's call her Emma, and I were dating two boys who were best friends. Typical, right? So, one day Emma and I get out of rehearsal and we go to meet up with our boyfriends, who are nowhere to be found. So we look harder, we're wandering around campus, and we hear low voices behind a ledge. Lo and behold, our precious boyfriends were there, making out with each other. Emma immediately started crying, which caused the boys to pull apart with a suction-y slurp. I suppose I wasn't as in love with boyfriend as I thought, because my reaction was to laugh hysterically. I had never seen two boys make out before. It wasn't bad. I went to her 18th birthday party. I wandered around mingling with all her friends, and then I realized I hadn't seen her anywhere in like 45 minutes. I thought nothing of it at first, but then I went downstairs to use the basement bathroom. It was locked. I knocked and I heard a very breathy female voice say, "Occupied. Go away." Since I really had to go, I decided to wait. Girlfriend came stumbling out of the bathroom with some guy about 10 minutes later, looking all flustered and stinking of really cheap weed. Apparently, the guy bought himself a bathroom quickie with a few hits of a shitty toke. She made some excuse about how they were just talking and he was an old friend. I shrugged, actually wanting to believe her. But when I went in to finally take a piss, the stupid bitch had forgotten her panties on the bathroom floor. I handed them to her in front of all her friends upstairs and walked out. "Here. You forgot these in the bathroom downstairs." It was one of those classic singer moments when you really burn someone, but at the time, I just felt sick and brokenhearted. I know this is cliche and I've definitely bitched about it before, but coming home from a 12-month deployment to a black baby when we're both white were strike 1 and 2. Strike 3 was telling me she had black relatives, whom I've never met, so that could be what happened, sure. Doesn't matter what excuse you have, there isn't a magical 12-month gestation period. Makes me very fucking angry. I walked in on it while trying to surprise her with our happy 6 months celebration and presents. Fuck man, it hurt to walk in on them screwing in front of me. I broke his nose against the bedpost and made her leave her house without clothes on. Well. Every night after work, my pillow had a cement spot on it where he wiped off his spooge. Wife said I was drooling in my sleep to explain the wet spot. He would also use my bath towel to wipe off his expelled love load sometimes. I remember I was brushing my teeth and looking myself in the mirror, and I thought to myself, I finally feel like I can trust her. I don't think she has been unfaithful at all to me. That's a good feeling. I went back to the computer where we had a Skype session going, and I told her my mirror thoughts. I was so proud of myself because I can have trust issues. She immediately went silent and started biting her lip. I was like, of course. She ended up telling me that things got rekindled with her ex, and they started hooking up again. It was just the worst because we were in a long-distance stint of our relationship. We broke up, and she got back together with him, and then wanted me back, and then wanted him back. I'm not even sure where it all stands now, but we don't communicate. A great victory for Rome. Was the night of her company Christmas party. I had to stay home and babysit our 5-year-old son. Grandma was supposed to, but she fell and was in the hospital with a broken hip. I figured wife would go and then come home early. Turns out, she was planning to stay the night at a hotel so she could drink and not worry about driving. I woke up about 3 a.m. just knowing something was wrong, never happened before, and checked find my phone to see where she was. She was with her boss at his apartment. Pretty much sucked. Came home from working a double shift and found the toilet seat up. Either my wife didn't take a piss for 20 hours straight or there had been another man in my house. Suspected it was her gay friend from work. I also knew that said friend was trying to sell his house, so I called the real estate agent and asked to see his place. Right inside the front door, I recognized one of her jackets hanging in the mudroom. Proceeded to the living room and bam! Right on the fucking mantle was a picture of my wife and this guy. We divorced shortly after. She ended up marrying this guy. Then cheated on him. And now they are divorced. Didn't feel bad for him at all. Drove by his house on my way to work. It's on my way to work. Wasn't a checking up on him thing, saw them making out. Got through my day, barely, and called him. Asked him how his night was, got an okay me and tea, male BFF, got a lot done. His excuse for not being with me the night before, oh who was the girl this morning? That was Jay, she stopped by to pick something up, she's just a friend. Really? Weird, I don't kiss my friends like that. It's not what you think. This went on for a while. I really just wanted him to admit he cheated. He never did. Even better, a few days later Jay called me and was calling me all sorts of lovely names, whore, slut, etc., because she thought she was the only one in his life. A couple hours later, after I'd hung up on her, she called with the intent of having a threesome. I started laughing, and I'm the slut? Click. Got a few calls from her, thanks X for giving her my phone number, that was sweet of you, over the next month or so threatening me. Walked in on them in bed together about 3 weeks ago. She was also a close friend. They worked together and I've since found out they were carrying on for weeks before I found them. It has destroyed me. She told me to stay at a friend's house as her ex-boyfriend was coming over for 3 days. He left his Facebook open. I know, I should have respected his privacy. But, I had some suspicions so I looked in his inbox. Sure enough, I found all their messages. I have a few. She went away to her hometown for summer in college. She started getting really distant and I had a suspicion she was cheating on me with her former boyfriend. I got on AIM, lol, and asked him if they were fucking. He confirmed. I called one girlfriend because she was supposed to come over to my house. I rang her phone and there was no answer. I think, hey, no sweat. After an hour past the time she was supposed to be over I get worried. I call her phone, her home phone, her parents. Nothing. I'm freaking out thinking something happened to her. I kept calling her phone until a dude answered and said stop fucking calling, I'm fucking so and so. I walked into the gaming room in a condo I lived in with one girlfriend. Up on her chat screen was her declaring her love for whomever. When confronted she simply broke up with me and asked me to move out. The sneakiest one, I was still in high school and she had gone off to college. She started spending a lot of time with these guys, sleeping over, etc. The guys totally played it off like everything I was worried about was bullshit. I happened to have her email info and logged in. Sure enough, she was fucking one of the guys. This hurt a lot because I had been with her for a year, and she was a virgin. At least until that guy. I was laying in bed with my then significant other and wanted to email me some pictures we had taken that day from his phone to me. The first email was sent a couple hours prior addressed to someone I didn't recognize. The subject said love never dies and all the body said was I want you. I laid in bed completely stunned. I typed in the email address in his phone to see if it was a contact, and to my surprise he had sent it to his mom's best friend. That was a long night. Was living with a guy, he goes home for Thanksgiving and said he would be back the following Monday. Didn't come back until after New Year's, kept making excuses as to why he was staying longer. Finally returns, we spend 3 days together then he breaks up with me and tells me he's moving to another state. I was pretty upset but overall was honestly calm about the situation and knew it wouldn't work out long term with him that far away. He leaves to go get something from the store and my cousin calls, they are from the same town, I met him through her, She asked why I sounded upset. I told her he was in town and that we had just broken up. She says, "What is he doing there? He told everyone here that you broke up before Thanksgiving. He's been sleeping around with at least 2 girls that I know of." He came back happy as a clam, having no clue I had found out. Kicked him out in the rain at 10 p.m. at night. Left his TV out on the curb. The other woman messaged me on AIM while she was dumping him. I ended up messaging him after she told me it was over and asking how it felt. "How did what feel?" he queried. "How does it feel to get dumped by 2 girls in one day?" Signs off triumphantly. Had been going through a rough patch with my girlfriend at the time. We both worked at the same large chain grocery store and a lot of co-workers knew we were dating. One of the girls comes up to me when I'm closing and asks, "Are you still dating so-and-so?" Because I just saw her in a coffee shop parking lot making out with some guy. I trusted this source and she was very upset when she found out. She provided very hurtful news. Being an evil bastard, I began to plan my revenge. So I planned a romantic getaway an hour and a half from home. Go to a nice restaurant, and it was actually a good time. At the end of the meal I excuse myself to use the bathroom. I have a long drive ahead of me. I go up to our waiter and ask him to tell her that I know. Give him a $20 as a tip. She was dead broke because she just paid for school, which I helped her pay. After the bathroom, stuck out of the place, got in my car and drove home. Her friend had to drive up, pay for the meal and drive her home. We haven't talked since. Her friend told me I went a bit too far. A lot of people don't count this as cheating because there was no physical contact or reciprocation, but it is to me, so here's my short little story. I was dating this deadbeat guy for about 2 years. I lived on my parents' property and so was he, for free. One day while I was at work, I go on break and I get a Facebook message from a guy I barely know. It said, "I don't know how you feel about this, but it bothers me." I click it and see a picture. At first I was thinking it was spam and almost deleted it before enlarging it. Seemed like one of those clickbait titles that hijacks your account. Something made me decide to click it anyway. When I click it I see a screenshot of a Facebook convo between my boyfriend and his girlfriend. He was hitting on her, telling her how much of POS her boyfriend was and how he would treat her so much better than that. He told her not to tell anyone about the convo. Well, sucks for him because the girl immediately showed her BF, who showed me. Ha! Judging by the timestamps, this conversation took place the previous night at my house on my laptop. It was the only way he could have this conversation. Needless to say, I left work early, went home, kicked him out of my place and made him homeless. Oh fucking well. We were having a little party and the way the house was built, I was like 2 rooms away from her, but I guess she assumed I couldn't still see her. I looked over while making a drink and saw her hand down my friend's pants. Another girl I dated I learned was cheating on me when she just came out and told me. I had no fucking idea or suspicion either. She was basically like, "I've been doing this, I'm sorry, I felt bad when I did it, can we work it out and stay together?" Was dating a girl who was a model, and used to fly to different parts of the country for photo shoots, typically LA and NYC. One trip she said that the director of the shoot won't allow phones on his set, and then she ignored me for 4 days. When I asked her about it and confronted her, she somehow convinced me I was the crazy one. Fast forward a month and her and I are back to normal. Christmas rolls around and I get her a really expensive diamond necklace. Fast forward about 3 months after that and she gives me my birthday gift. A picture album of her, professional pictures, and says, "Remember that photo shoot I couldn't answer the phone? These are the pictures from that photo shoot. Don't you feel like an asshole?" For a split second I kind of did feel like an asshole, until I looked at a couple of the photos closer and realized that the necklace I bought her was dangling around her neck. I pointed it out to her and she couldn't come up with anything, so I left her place. She called me the next day and admitted she was getting dicked in New York that one week, and that was all I needed to never speak to her again. Found out via Facebook a few months after I had broken up with him. I was still friends with his siblings and parents, and they were tagged in some photos of him holding his clearly to term newborn son. Less than 9 months after I broke up with him. Are you sure you weren't the mother?